The Michigan Football Report by Chat Sports is presented by Rhone. I am rocking some Rhone clothes. Their commuter collection is amazing. I'm going to head to the golf course right after this show, and I can do it wearing the same shirt I'm rocking here with Rhone. Go to Rhone.com/chatsports. That's Rhone.com/chatsports. 20% off your order. Rhone.com/chatsports. All right, we have got the Michigan Football Live Audience Q&A coming up here in just a moment. I've got a few questions I am going to answer for you guys, but I wanted to let you know how to get a question on the show. These questions, use hashtag Michigan or Super Chat. We've got some Super Chats coming up from the live show, or if you are using hashtag Michigan anytime, we can track your comments down and put them on our live audience mailbags. College football gets underway this weekend. What is a better football product for you? You can think about it at home. You can think about it at the stadium. Whatever you want to think about it, let me know. Type C if it's college football. Type N if it's the NFL. It is such a C for me. It's not even funny. We may have a new leaderboard in the Super Chat battle there, Jack. So we'll toss Jim's question up here on this live mailbag. Let me know N or C, better football product for you, the NFL or college football. Next Saturday, 11:15 a.m. Eastern, the Michigan Football Report. James Yoder, Young Harbaugh, Jack LaDarius. We will be live for 5 hours straight, 45 minutes pregame, 11:15. The game is on Peacock Network, so we thought a lot of people want people to watch it, so we won't have the actual game, but we will have live play-by-play, stats updated, leaders tell you what's going on. You can see my reaction, and I'll take your questions live during the show. Then we'll have about another 45 minutes to an hour post-game show. Join myself and Young Harbaugh. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Or, hey, send that to your friends. Say, look, we can't watch the Peacock game, or these announcers suck. Let's go watch Yoder, ask him questions, kind of have a Michigan football community live during the game. Jim Kalich, he says, maybe I should be the one chugging beers. If you're watching this weekend, this is a Super Chat battle on our live show from Wednesday. Jim is now our Super Chat leader. He's going to win himself the Don jersey if things shake out how they were on there. Jim, that is now, what, $44 today? Jim, you are getting yourself the Don shirt if you are leading our Super Chat MVP after this game, guys. Every Wednesday, probably at 5 o'clock Eastern is what the audience has decided. We will be live for up to 2 hours here every Wednesday during this Michigan football season, breaking down everything you need to know from the prior game and into the next game. Super Chat's your best way to be a part of the show. Get your name on the end screen. Get your name on one of our helmets. And we're giving away prizes every single week. Jim is going to win a Michigan Football The Don 7 t-shirt. Cody Montfort with a question. He is our Super Chat runner-up as of now. Tyler Morris will be our leading wide receiver. You heard it here first. If he's healthy, he will be a dog. I think I've told this yet. I'm going to have Arnold mock something up. Cody, it's funny you use the word dog because I am breaking out after the first game. I'll probably do first game might have 10 or 12 or 15 guys, but anybody who has kind of elevated themselves to I can count that guy, dog, and I'm hoping Tyler Morris can be one of them. Look, Michigan is not bringing back a deep wide receiver group. They are not bringing back. They've got Cornelius Johnson. You've got Roman Wilson. They combined last year for not even 700 so yards, not even 800 yards. And they got a lot of run in the spring practice and so far this fall with the limitations of Donovan Edwards and Blake Corum in the spring and being able to focus on the downfield passing game spring, summer, and now into fall camp. But that is not a lot of production. I guess it's a little more than 800 yards, so 875 yards between those two. When your fourth string tight end at the start of last season is your third leading receiver coming into the next season, you know you were lacking depth on the wide receiver position. Tyler Morris, hearing a lot of good things about him. I've got him in my starting lineup. Did miss the practice, the padded practice 2 weeks ago. He's healthy. I think you could be right. I don't know if he's going to lead the team, but maybe. Be a good sign for the future if a sophomore could come in after not doing much as a freshman last year. Could come in because after this season, I don't even know what to make of the Michigan football wide receiver group. Mike Layton, one of our Super Chat helmet members, a producer of the show, says, this is the year for Roman Wilson, healthy and just killing the slot. A lot of excitement about the wide receivers. You see that question from Cody, or that statement from Cody on sophomore Tyler Morris, former teammate of J.J. McCarthy when they were sophomore, freshman, and then junior, sophomore in high school before J.J. went down to IMG Academy for his senior season when the state of Illinois wasn't having fall football. I like it. If we're sitting here 4, 5, 6, 8 games in the season and you're saying, well, grade the wide receiver group. And if you're saying it's a B and I'm saying it's a B or an A, B plus or an A, sky's the limit, right? Because that is the limiting factor on this team, the depth of the wide receiver group and the playmaking ability of this wide receiver group. If somebody likes Tyler Morris, somebody likes Roman Wilson, I think Roman Wilson is going to be the guy to break out this year. I think that we could have a big-time season in front of us. Guys, I'm sure many of you are just like me and you have social life, parenting responsibilities, and heck, even like to hit the golf course sometimes while on company time. Well, I've got the solution to the hassle of changing clothes between your daily activities, and it is the Commuter Collection from Rhone. Athletic dress pants, shirts, and apparel. Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Rhone stepped up to the challenge. I am wearing Rhone's commuter shirt and commuter pants, both part of the Commuter Collection, which is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man, and here's why. Rhone helps you get ready for any occasion with the Commuter Collection, which offers the world's most comfortable pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos. You will never have to worry about what to wear when you have the Rhone Commuter Collection. And Jack, I don't know if you knew this, they're in quite a few malls now. Rhone's got actual physical stores. I saw them at the mall here in Dallas. Their comfortable four-way stretch fabric provides breathability, flexibility, and lets you enjoy what life throws your way from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. It's time to feel confident without the hassle. With Rhone's wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear their products. It's that easy. And with Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you're smelling fresh and clean all day long. Rhone is 100% machine washable, so you can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. I love the comfort, the flexibility of my Rhone clothing. I can go from the office, I can go to a friend's house, I can go to my son's football practice in 103-degree weather at 6 o'clock on a Wednesday, Thursday, and I can still rock this Rhone shirt. Look at this stretchability, Jack. This is a dress shirt. This bad boy stretches like crazy. It's awesome. And sometimes I hang it up after washing it, and I'll spray a little water spray. So I'm like, okay, cool. It looks a little wrinkly. Like, is this shirt wrinkled? I thought they said I didn't have to wrinkle it. It's amazing. I put it on. It's like your body heat takes the wrinkles away. The Commuter Collection can get you through any workday and straight to whatever comes next. Head to Rhone.com/chatsports. That's Rhone.com/chatsports. Use promo code chatsports. You get 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order. Send that link and promo code to a friend if you want to. RHONE.com/chatsports. Use code chatsports. It's time to find your corner office comfort. Corey B. Boskine, is that how you pronounce it? Corey B. 410 on Twitter. He says, who is a player that nobody's talking about that you think will become a huge player for this Michigan football team? Let me think about that for a second. I'll give me some ideas. I want to ask you this question. Who is your 2023 breakout player that no one's expecting? Think about last year. There were so many in 2022's team. Mike Sainristil, okay? He switched from wide receiver. People thought that was a joke at this time last year. Mike Sainristil, he's a wide receiver. He's not even that good at one. He could have been the defensive MVP right last year. Mike Morris was even going to start this time last year. Turns out to be, Big Ten defensive lineman of the year. That's a breakout on that side of the ball. On the offensive side of the ball, it's tough to say. J.J. McCarthy, he wasn't even a starter at the beginning of the year. Led Michigan to an undefeated season. That could be a breakout one, although everyone was talking about him. I've got two. We talked about a couple of them. Cody Mountford said this guy. How about Tyler Morris? Right? And it's not because I think he's going to be the Michigan's leading wide receiver. It's not that I think he's going to have 1,000 yards or anything like that and 10 touchdowns. I think he could get 6, 8, 7 touchdowns if he proves himself reliable in the red zone. But he's got J.J. McCarthy's trust. They were high school teammates, and he is in the starting lineup as of now, with a little over a week to go in the season. If Michigan's going to have a breakout offense, one of these young freshman or sophomore wide receivers has to step up. The fact that Tyler Morris is in the starting lineup, I am pegging him for my breakout potential on offense that no one is talking about. How about also on offense, A.J. Barner? The focus is so much on Colston Loveland, right? He is the guy that reminds people of all the great tight ends, Gronk or Brock Bowers from Georgia or Jake Butt at Michigan. But A.J. Barner was a starting wide receiver in the Big Ten last year himself. He's got the experience. He's coming over here to Michigan to fight for a starting job, to get in the NFL. He's not going to take, a second. He's not going to take a second fiddle to anybody this year. So I think those two guys, when we look back, we're talking here in mid-October, mid-November, after the season, we might be saying like, wow, we are focusing on all these different guys, but how about A.J. Barner with those 7 touchdowns? How about, wide receivers? How about Tyler Morris with 500 yards? No one was talking about him at the beginning of the season. I like to think about those two guys as we have a super chat coming in from Jim Prindle, which we'll get to in just a moment. Jim, I see you, baby. I see you, Jim. Brad Butker writes, I struggle with the name every time, Brad, multiple times super chatter. Really appreciate it. He says, go blue, Bosa, beat Ohio State again. Do you think the offensive line will have 5 guys drafted after this year? Let's take a look at my depth chart, my offensive line depth chart. How about those 5 guys across the top? Zach Zinter and Trevor Keegan would have been drafted last year. I think LaDarius Henderson would have been too if he'd have just gone from Arizona State, but he didn't want to be a 6th-round draft pick. He wanted to be a 2nd-round draft pick or a 1st-round draft pick. I think the same for Drake Nugent. He could have potentially been drafted or made a roster with a free agent, undrafted free agent. Carson Barnhart might be Michigan's best offensive lineman this year. He could actually switch over and get the start at left tackle. So I think Michigan has 5 guys. Miles Hinton could go pro. You never know. Trente Jones, he could get enough snaps to get in front of guys. He was a starter last season. I think 5 guys are going to get drafted in this offensive line. I think of that 2 deep, we'll see over the next 2 or 3 drafts, maybe as many as 8 or 9 of those guys that you just saw drafted in the NFL, which is frankly unprecedented in the history of college football. Jim Prindable, what up? Jim Prindable. We got to do a wheel spin. We'll do it right after the segment, Jack. So don't forget about the wheel spin. Jim, you got a wheel spin coming up here on the live show. Yoder, who do you think will actually be the cornerback starter opposite of Will Johnson? I think I've got a little graphic for that, Jack, we can go to on the cornerback position. Look, there's plenty. Everyone was high on Amarian Walker, okay? Everyone thought that he was going to be the guy. He's been hurt a little bit lately, although as of this past weekend, he is back in the building. I think the guy right there at the CB2, it's Josh Wallace. If only because he's been in the college football program for 4 years. He's got 2 years of starting under him. You could get in a situation where he starts the first 3, 4, 5, 6 games, and then Amarian Walker or Jair Hill, or somebody else, Jade McBurrows, Micah Pollard, somebody kind of emerges, into the season and makes plays when they have to be made. I think Josh Wallace is the starter at quarterback to book it. If Will Johnson is limited or doesn't play at all in the first 1, 2, or 3 games, don't be surprised if Amarian Walker and Josh Wallace are your starters, though with Mike Sanders still at that nickel position. So it's going to be an exciting year, but that cornerback too, right? After we left last season, it was the only position that I thought, yeah, got a big question mark here. They kind of answered the question with Josh Wallace. We'll see how he plays. He might not get tested until, the 6th or 7th or 8th game of the year. I don't think we're going to learn a ton about what Josh Wallace brings to the table until he is tested with a team that has a deep downfield passing game. Blue Wolverine in the house, one of our executive producers. Haven't seen you in a little bit, but Blue Wolverine, you are on these bad boys. I got you right here on some of these helmets. My man, appreciate you. He says, smash that like button. If you guys can, hit the like button as Blue Wolverine threw in there. Always helps the show, always helps the video, puts us in front of more Michigan football fans. Grassroots marketing, I think, is always the best marketing. Blue Wolverine, thanks to have you back. Let me know if you think 5 o'clock on Wednesdays Eastern is a good time for you to join weekly this football season. Michael coming in with a question. Do you think Roman Wilson will be a top 5 wide receiver this year? Now, I struggle to understand what he meant by this because the way it says, I think he kind of means in college football or in the draft. So if he means in college football, the answer is no, right? I don't think he's going to get anywhere near there. I think there's so many more talented guys. I would say that it's likely that Ohio State alone has 3 receivers who have better stats than Michigan's leading receiver this year. That's just the facts, unfortunately, at this point with the kind of offense they run. He's got to get in the field more. These are good stats, but they're not good for a guy who's been in the program for 4 and now, 5 years as a Michigan football player. First 2 or 3, 4 games last year, it was like all Ruben Wilson does is score touchdowns. Against Hawaii, a couple touchdowns, a reverse, and then a long pass. First game of the year, opening game of the year, he had a touchdown, almost like a screen pass. He took it 70 yards. But then we didn't hear from him for 6, 7, 8 games. He's getting 1 catch a game, 2 catches, 3 catches, 1 catch. And you look at the stat count, snap count, I should say, from him and Ronnie Bell and Adrian Arrington and Cornelius Johnson. He was always way behind those other guys. So even though Adrian Arrington, who might be the starting wide receiver for Oklahoma this year, Adrian Arrington, what's his name? Andrew Anthony, I apologize. He was getting more snaps last year than Roman Wilson was, even though he was a backup on the outside. So I'd like to see some good things from Roman Wilson. Will be a top 5 wide receiver on college football? No. On Michigan's team, of course. But I think the best we can probably ask for is that he is a definitive top 5 wide receiver in the Big Ten with the talent at Ohio State, Maryland, Michigan State. I don't think that's anything to sneeze at. But I'll ask you guys this question on this 2023 Michigan football team. Who will have the most receiving yards? Which of these players? And there's only 2 receivers on there. Okay? Hell, it could be Tyler Morris. Do the write-in vote if you think it's going to be him. It could be A.J. Barner. But I think these are the guys that have the most likely opportunity. If it's going to be Roman Wilson, type RW, Cornelius Johnson, CJ, Colston Loveland, CL, or the Don, Donovan Edwards, DE. I'll vote Cornelius Johnson because it just makes sense. But I wouldn't be surprised if any of these guys got the nod. It all comes down to who J.J. McCarthy trusts and who he goes to when they are open downfield to get those big chunks of yards and take them in for touchdowns. Da Finesse says, with a lack of experience at wide receiver after the top two guys, do you think we'll feature tight end more like his Stanford days? Now, this is a damn good question. I like it a lot. And this is the perfect year for Michigan as a team to have lack of talent at wide receiver because you got that transfer to come over at the tight end position. Matt Hibner and Max Bredesen, they're going to be on the field a little bit. They probably won't catch more than a couple balls each, but they're very good blocking tight ends. But I think you can have a lot of situations where you've got Blake Corum in the backfield at running back, and you've got Cornelius Johnson and Roman Wilson out there at wide receiver with either A.J. Barner or Colston Loveland as the slot wide receiver, but like a wide tight end over there with wide receiver, with the other one being more up against the left tackle. So I like the depth chart. I do think that Michigan will feature the tight ends. I think Jim Harbaugh loves featuring the tight ends because it's such a versatile position. Now, they can block, of course. They can go downfield deep. They can go downfield short. They're good in the red zone. They're good on third down tight ends. If you got a good tight end, you've got somebody who can do a lot of things. Can he take that same philosophy to other positions in the field? Donovan Edwards. Can he get him down the field passing? Can he get him enough carries as a running back? J.J. McCarthy. He can pass the ball, but J.J. McCarthy can also run the ball. So Jim Harbaugh has so many options on this offense in any given play. Can he come up with a game plan every single week with Rhone Moore, with Mike Hart, to make sure that Michigan is hitting on all cylinders? You're stepping into a Ferrari, the likes of which Michigan hasn't seen in a generation on offense. You've got to maximize this team, and I hope that Michigan does that in this 2023 season for the number 2 ranked Michigan Wolverines. We went live on Wednesday, 5 o'clock. That was the time that we chose because the early votes that we put on our YouTube community poll. So I want to know what you guys think. So in the live chat or in the comments in the on-demand video, just type, either you can type the letter if you want, or you can just type 11, 4, 2, or 5 Eastern times. What will be your preferred time for a live show? We're just going to let you guys dictate what it is. And maybe we'll do it on a weekly basis on Mondays or something like that. We'll put out a poll. But early results of our polls on YouTube, the YouTube live chat, and these chats, the YouTube live poll, I should say, and these chats seems to be 5 o'clock like 60, 70% of the time. So I think 5 o'clock is what we'll stick with unless something changes big time. Might try a later one time. Jack, you be up for a primetime show one of these weeks, maybe? We might have to do one of those. So let me know 11, 2, 4, or 5 p.m. Eastern. Cody Mom for Cody, you're just behind the Super Chat MVP. Who is it? It's Jim, and then we got the other Jim Printable 25. So he's in the running at least, right? So Cody, I think you're like 12, 36. He's $8 behind. Cody, a $10, I'll get you that down, sure. But thank you for this 10. On defense, we need to get more pressure in key games. We only got to Stroud once. Josh Wallace was a key on defense. If he can play well, our defense will be better than last year. I think that's such a good point, Cody. You should be doing your own show, your own podcast, YouTube show, because you're making a lot of really good points. If Michigan allows a passing team like Ohio State or maybe a Florida State or hell, like an Oklahoma, who knows who they might face in the postseason? Penn State's thing is going to be a lot better. They've got a 5-star top 10 player in the country quarterback coming out of high school from 2 years ago in Drew Aller. If you get picked on in that second quarterback position, then that really takes your entire defensive strategy and just throws it out the window if they can just keep picking on one single guy. We saw it plenty of times with Ohio State, Michigan in 2018 and 2019. But it all starts with the pass rush. I think Josiah Stewart, the amount of tackles and sacks he had in his true freshman year 2 years ago, it's kind of inspiring. I don't have him as a starter as of now, but we're 4 deep at the defensive end position. It's got to be, I think, Josiah Stewart or Derek Moore. One of those guys who are the true athletes. I've got them as my backups now, but they're going to get into the game in that Josh Uche, that David Ojabo role, both them, where it's 3rd and 7, and they only have one role. It's the second the ball is snapped, you run as hard and as fast as you can at the quarterback. If they hand the ball off, cool. If they pass the ball quick, cool. That's not his responsibility. Those two guys will give him either at the same time or flip-flop. One guy's one series, one guy's one third down. Hit the quarterback, get him, crush him. Worked with David Ojabo, worked with Aiden Hutchinson. Didn't work as well like that last year, and those are the two things that are really the stains on the Michigan defense coming into this year. You solve them, you get yourself a national championship team. Make sure you guys follow the Michigan Football Report on Instagram. We'll put the link I got, Jack, in the live chat. It's also down in the comments and the description of today's video. We launched a new Instagram channel or page 3-4 months ago. Didn't post on a ton this offseason, but it'll be daily posts now, just like on the YouTube channel. Daily post, and I'm going to make it private one day a week. Talk some inside Michigan football stuff that I want to put on YouTube because it's a little too sensitive. Injuries, depth charts, game plans. So subscribe or follow us on Instagram so when we go private, you can still get all the juicy inside information. Bill Graves in the house. Chicka. Do you think Colston Loveland will be the key to helping wide receivers find more space along with the threat of Edwards? I alluded to this a second ago with the other question on the tight ends with him and A.J. Barner, is where Colston Loveland is being featured in this offense in fall camp so far is a lot of times he's the third wide receiver. You've got A.J. Barner when they run the 2 tight ends, 2 wide receiver, 1 running back set. A.J. Barner is up against the left tackle or the right tackle. And then Colston Loveland is on the wide side of the field. And they're giving him opportunities. If you think about their route trees, Barner is running those 5, 7, 10, 12-yard routes. Sometimes it's just 6 yards, 7 yards, turn around. Sometimes it's up and out. Sometimes it's this, there. Where Colston Loveland's given the opportunity to go 10, 15, 20. Sometimes it's going out to the sideline and up, like we saw in the Big Ten championship game. So if you can do that, think about how much of a threat Gronkowski or any of these Travis Kelce are, that if you've got a guy who can go upfield that size, that kind of ability, catches the ball, like the entire rest of the field opens up. So for me, it's all going to come down to, it's not going to be whether or not they've got the players that can make the plays. It's whether the coaches call the plays that put them in a position, and J.J. McCarthy has the confidence and is given the reign to not just go one look and either dump underneath or take off like it seemed like he was almost all of last year. It's he can go to the first read, second read, third read, hit the guy, he might be open, and Michigan's offense is just going to open up like the parting of the seas. Jack LaDarius, a.k.a. Young Harbaugh, and I were live next Saturday, September 2nd, Labor Day weekend, 11:15, 45 minutes before the game. We'll have our pregame breakdown. We'll take your questions. We will get the party started. If you guys want to super chat for that game, you could end up getting me drunk because I always like to have a couple cocktails during a Michigan football game. We'll let you guys contribute every touchdown. You can super chat. I might take a swig or two. YouTube.com/MichiganTV next Saturday, 11:15. We'll be live 11:15 to almost 4 o'clock probably, on 4:30, 45 minutes after the game. We will be live, youtube.com/MichiganTV. The game's the Peacock. If we can get on every game after that, if you guys like to watch parties, we'll continue to do them, but make sure you join us for that first one next Saturday, 11:15 a.m.